Okay, looks like the stream is getting in order. Here we go. Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. It is Andy, and you found my YouTube channel and my live office hours. We are in the middle of a 3-day in a row run, and for some of you, it probably feels like we never even left. I know I'm excited to get going. Hey, Jack. Folks, tell me where you're from. Tell me how you are. Tell me what you do. I always love to hear about it. I just want to, okay, we're rolling in. We're all set. I just want to thank you again for coming. This is my live office hours where yesterday, today, and tomorrow, I'll be giving away free career advice and job search advice and taking your questions. And speaking of questions, you guys have found the chat. I love that you're pouring in. Thomas is here. Hey, Brew, good to see you. Ronald, good to see you. If you have a question, let me know who you are. Let me know where you're from. If you have a question, and you can start putting your questions in right now, put a bunch of question marks in the beginning just so I can find them easier. There's loads and loads of you that attend these things, so it'll make it a little easier for me to find it. Now, today's topic is about the resume and how to write perfect resume bullet points. But before we get into that, I always love to introduce myself. For those of you who've just discovered me, may or may not know, my name's Andy LaCivita. I'm the founder of Mile Walk and the Mile Walk Academy, an award-winning author of the Hiring Prophecies and Interview Intervention, and I've made it my mission in life to help people succeed in their careers. I genuinely think it was what I was born to do. And I do that through two major mediums that I've created. The first is Mile Walk, my executive search firm, which I founded in 2004. It has been an absolute joy and a privilege to support lots of great companies across the world and wonderful individuals who we help secure jobs. And also more recently in 2016, the Mile Walk Academy, which is my online training and coaching site where I teach on all things careers related and personal development for individuals. I also have a very popular top 5 career site blog called Tips for Work and Life. So I hope you check all that stuff out. The links to the blog, the links to the training site, my contact information, my entire social platform, all that good stuff is in the description, so you can access that at any time, now or later when I release the recording of this. Also in the description, I have loads of nice giveaways today. Let me run you through them really quick just so you know what's there and how it can support you. The first one is a wonderful workbook. It is my 10 by 10 job search formula. It's multiple things. It's an assessment tool, so you can take this neat little assessment to gauge the overall health of your job search and see which areas you're doing well, see which areas you might need to pick up. I've also got the 10 most critical steps I think you need to take in your job search so that you find the right job the fastest, but also a whole bunch of mistakes that people make in doing those 10 activities, and I've also included 10 pro tips to make sure that you're doing them correctly. In addition to that workbook, I also have a webinar that really goes along with it. It's called How to Find a Job You Love. It's about 1 hour and 7 minutes. I take a deeper dive on those 10 steps that I think you need to take in your job search and exactly what I would do. I also cover the mistakes and the tips and all that good stuff too. I just go a lot deeper in the webinar. It's free. Take a shot at that. Also, because this is a resume topic, I have included my collegiate template with instructions and my professional resume template with instructions. Those are also in the notes. And I'll also make some references throughout the session about where you can find even more on resume writing. Okay, so that's the intro. Now, what about the topic? How do we write the perfect resume bullets? Now, anytime I start to talk about a topic, we have to talk about the problem first, and we all know what the problem is. You're not getting your resume noticed, or no one seems to notice your resume. That can happen for a million reasons, some of which you can control, some of which you can't control. But those of you that know me, we focus on the things you can control. And speaking of a million, In my career, I have looked at more than 500,000 resumes, more than 500,000 resumes. And one thing I can tell you with a great degree of certainty is that most people, and when I say most people, I'm talking 98%, do not know how to tell their story in the resume. They just don't know how to tell it, or they don't tell a good one. And the sad thing about that is you all have great stories to tell. You have a great story to tell. I have a great story to tell. We all have great stories to tell. I don't care if you're a college student going through internships, you're just about to graduate, or you're a 60-year-old veteran. Everybody has a great story. And the resume is a vehicle to tell that story. But what usually happens is people don't know how to tell that story. A lot of the individuals that I coach, whether they're one-on-one coaching clients of mine or job candidates that we've recruited through Mile Walk that we're looking to place at an organization, I coach a lot of individuals on interviewing. And one of the things I spend a lot of time, and my team spend a lot of time doing, is teaching people how to say what they want to say. There's this expression I always give these people: let's take a laugh at my expense here. And if you're any one of these people who I've interacted with at this level, take a chuckle here. But I always say to them, how you say what you say matters as much as what you say. So how you say what you say matters as much as what you're actually saying. Think about the resume. Most people, they know their life, but the resume, it's like this sick, twisted joke. You have a double whammy where most people don't even know what to say, and they don't know how to say it. So when you look at the entire resume is a story about you. And although we're not going to cover the entire resume today, I do want to make a couple of mentions here. If you're really looking for more information on the overall structure of the resume, I've got an entire resume playlist out there. It's like 6 or 8 videos on the YouTube channel. One of them's even a 20-minute video on how to build the ultimate professional resume. I take you through the whole thing. And I give you the template, all that good stuff, template that's in the description for this session. And I also have a 52-minute webinar, different webinar, called 3 Secrets to Get Your Resume Noticed. I even take you through how somebody looks at your resume. So I just want to mention that because I know people are getting a lot of value out of those. I really would love for you to take a look at that at your leisure. But we are going to talk about one extremely important element, and that's the bullet points. Your resume is made up of a collection of bullet points. All of those bullet points tell a story about you. But what most people don't understand is each individual bullet point is a story in and of itself. I should be able to look at anybody's resume, peel out any bullet that I want, and that should be a self-contained story that tells me something about them. So we're gonna go through that. I'm gonna tell you exactly how to structure it. So as I was thinking about the topic, and I know this is a big one because this is something people struggle with. They just lack power in their bullets. They don't know what to say. They don't know how to say it. I thought, what's a good way that I could illustrate this for people? And I thought about when I look at a resume, I have all these questions. I'm looking at a resume and I've got all these questions going through my head as I read every bullet, as I read the whole resume and as I read the bullet. And if I could communicate what those questions are to people, they could use them to answer them in advance in their bullet so that when I'm reading it, I'm really satiated. They've got all the information that I need there and I don't have to wonder. That is a comfortable and exciting feeling for somebody who's reading your resume. So we're going to talk about what the 7 questions are. There's 7 of them that I think are really good. And I'm going to give you the exact sentence structure. But before we get into the here's how, I want to take you through the what's. What's bullet worthy? I don't want you to list every single thing you've ever done in your life. I just want you to pick the bullet worthy bullets to create, and I'll show you what those are. Now, much like I did if you were at yesterday's session when we talked about why your job search is taking so long, I took you through a few slides from one of the sessions of my job search boot camp. I love this boot camp. It's a 5-session program. Each session's about 2 hours. The one that I peeled a few slides from today is the marketing session. It's the session on resume writing, cover letters, and the LinkedIn profile. It's like 2 hours and 15 minutes. I've peeled out a half a dozen or so slides. I'm going to walk you through some of that. So let me hop over. I'm going to switch over here to a presentation. There we go. And here's what I was talking about, the what's. So let me just waltz you through. When you're thinking about what you want to say, not just how you want to say it, what do you want to talk about? This is a big honkin' deal because the richness in the what's is also a critical component, not just how you articulate it, but what you're actually talking about, the substance. So let me walk you through this. I have what I consider to be 8 great topics that you should focus on. These are like the super duper most attractive topics that an employer wants to hear about. And everything that you do, anybody out there, any of you, I know there's a ton of you out there, and you have different professions, you work in different industries and different markets. Regardless of who you are, virtually every single one of you does at least one or many of these 8 things. And you need to think about your history, your activities, your jobs, and where you did these 8 things, because these things are the best points to talk about. Number 1, revenue generation. Organizations absolutely love people who raise the top line revenue. Now, revenue generation is very obvious for somebody who's in a sales capacity, but you might be inside sales, you might be outside sales, you might be in different capacities, but there's many different people that can contribute to the sale of a product, a service, or something of that nature. I know support engineers that go on calls when their hardware sales rep is about to sell a piece of equipment to one of his or her clients. So there's many different ways that you can help generate revenue. Market awareness. Maybe you are in the marketing department. There's many different ways. If you're in the marketing department, there's 7 or 8 or 10 different ways that you can elevate your company's awareness in the market. Those are obvious. But what if you are an engineer who is optimizing your company's website and you're working on the search engine optimization and you're bringing more eyeballs and more traffic to your site, and there are more people querying about your products and services? That's a great one. You're still raising market awareness. You also might be some kind of specialist or technologist or anybody in an organization who wrote a white paper that your company is circulating on its website or on social media, and people are with interest in that are grabbing it, providing their email, saying we'd love to hear more from your organization. That's raising awareness in the market. People are being they're able to recognize your organization just as a result of the things that you are doing. Are you attracting customers? Now, there's a bridge here between market awareness and actual lead generation, but you might be an inside sales rep. You might be an outside sales rep calling out. You might be an inside sales rep who's fielding phone calls when somebody's calling in to want to buy your product or service. You might be attracting them in many ways. The example I just gave you about creating a white paper, circulating it via social media, that's customer attraction. That's still a lead. So there's many different ways that the lead can be generated. Do you have any involvement in doing that? What maybe you're in a service capacity. What about customer happiness? Maybe something's broken. My barbecue grill, I couldn't figure something out. I have a brand new grill. I couldn't figure something out. I called Weber Grill. Somebody picked up the phone, made me happy as a clam because she answered my question in a few seconds. So maybe you're a call center rep. Maybe you are a software engineer that fields calls when your external customers call because their computer's broken. Maybe you're somebody who works the phone system for his organization. Who knows? There's many different things that can be considered customer happiness. Company growth. For all you senior folks out there, maybe you are a managing director or CEO or CIO or CXO or whoever, CMO. Maybe you're positioning your company for an initial public offering, an IPO. Maybe you're actually getting it ready for a merger or an acquisition or a divestiture or anything of that nature. Maybe you're an accountant or a CFO who's making sure that the books look absolutely pristine. That's what I'm talking about there. So there's company growth. What about employee happiness? Are you an HR? Are you a recruiter? Are you a hiring official who manages people? What are you doing to raise the happiness of the individuals in your organization? Are you coaching them so that they're getting promoted? There is many, many extensions of employee happiness. How about these? Cost reduction. I mean, that's like number 2 on the list. If you're generating revenue, awesome. The next best thing is when you save the company money. There's many ways to save the money. You could be an accountant who was tasked with reducing the number of days it takes to close the books each month, and you dropped it from 10 to 5. That is saving your organization tons of money, because it's probably a bunch of people's time who are spending 5 extra business days trying to close the books. Maybe you're maybe you're a project manager trying to optimize or run a project efficiently that's going to optimize some business processes or implement a technical solution that's going to save money. These go hand in hand. Any kind of process efficiency leads to cost reductions. So in my opinion, use these 8 components, and there's others, but these are kind of the great 8. These are what I call golden. These are bullet worthy. Okay, so these are the whats. Now, if you want to get into the questions, so every time I look at a resume, I think to myself as I start to read, there's certain questions that I have about any topic that somebody is sharing with me, any bullet point. So here's what they are. What's the benefit? This person did something. What was the benefit? Did they increase something, decrease something, and so forth? By how much? So what is the magnitude by which you crushed it? Did you decrease something so that you saved money? Did you increase something that created opportunities or revenue or reinvestment dollars or whatever? So by how much? From what to what? So give me a little context. So was it a percentage? If it was a percentage, well, from what number to what number? Or from what group to what group? So from what to what? From when to when? How long did that actually take you to do that? That sounds impressive. If it took you 10 years, that's one thing. If it took you 10 days, that's a whole nother thing. By doing what? What did you actually do to achieve that benefit? And for whom did it benefit? So who was the beneficiary of what you did? Somebody internally, somebody externally, maybe both. But you gotta let them know, or let me know who did that, or who it was for, and then any additional context. Is there any other color you can add so that I can get a better picture? Remember, if you answer all 7 of those, or 6 or 7 of those, depending on how you want to count, you have given me a complete story. It is a self-contained unit. It gives me a great mental picture of what you achieved. Now, those are the questions that most people will have. I realize you might not be able to answer all of them in every single bullet that you type, but the more you can, the better off you are. Here's a sample bullet from somebody that was in my resume program. I actually think this was an accountant of all things. Here's the sample. Increased contract sales by 118% from 328,000 to 718,000 during a 2-year span by developing a regional contract program for fast-moving drugs. Love that. Gave me a little more context, which allowed the program managers to grow the number of their targeted accounts by 32% from 75 to 99. So let's decompose this. What was the benefit? Boom. Up front, he did not bury the lead. Tell me the most important piece of information up front. I want to know what the impact is that you had and the value. Think value. What was the value I contributed? Not what did I do? What value did I contribute? Your value is what sets you apart from everybody else who is qualified to do that activity. So in his case, he increased the contract sales by 118%. If he would have left me there and not said from 328 to 718, I would say I would have a question. Did you raise it from $100 to $218? That's not nearly as impressive as, a $400,000, whatever that is, 390, more than double, big numbers, lots of zeros. That is effort. That is magnitude. That's results. So you can't just say I raised it by 100% because I don't know what 100% is. Is that $1 to $2? So I love that. From when to when? Over a 2-year span. It took him 2 years. Okay, that's cool. If he would have said between 2016 and 2017, that would have been cool too. Sometimes people love to show if they've done something of huge value in down markets. So when people say, I was the top grossing salesperson between 2008 and 2010, and I helped double my company's revenue, I'm thinking that is one awesome salesperson. So, it depends, but he gave me the time frame. So he was able to grow it by 118% over a 2-year period. That's way better than over a 5-year period when you're growing at 15%. By doing what? He had to develop a regional contract program. Basically, he was standardizing the programs that they were using, and it was making it easier for them to market those programs in this field. He was in the healthcare space. For whom? So the program managers were benefiting because they had a better vehicle to use to sell. His company, obviously, this is implied, was benefiting because they're generating more dollars. And candidly, the customers are also probably benefiting because they're using this company's services and this company knows what they're doing. And he gave us additional context. So he showed the impact internally of just the number of accounts that it took to grow. But you can see, even though he only grew the number of accounts by 32%, the dollars per account were growing substantially. That is a beautiful bullet. I mean, it's just, he hits them all. Here's another one. This woman, she was is a business analyst, created the resume, got a job right away. So we love those success stories. She reduced the number of custom reports from 168 to 12 by reevaluating business needs and modernizing technology. This reduced customer call center time or customer center call times by 33%, from 9 to 6 minutes, increasing customer service levels, so on and so forth. So you get the point here. The benefit is she led with the benefit, reduced number of custom reports. Okay, great. By how much? By a ton. These are call center reps that were having to fish through many, many reports. Have you ever been on the phone and you're calling somebody and you're asking them a simple question and they have to look at 8 reports to triangulate just the piece of information that you need to get? That just happened to me the other day. It's nerve-wracking. So I know I'm living this bullet as I'm reading what she's telling me, and I'm thinking, okay, well, she didn't put the time frame. That would have been wonderful. Although I think, what I did when I didn't see that was I looked at how long was she at the position where she put this bullet. So I knew I could take a guess, but I had a sense. But it would have been nice if she would have put the time frame. What did she do? She looked at the business processes. She figured out what those call center reps needed in the way of aggregating the information so that they could respond to the customer's queries, and they implemented a different reporting structure to take the data from the database and populate it differently so that the call center rep could see it in substantially fewer reports. I get that. And we know that the call center reps are happy because they're getting to the stuff faster. They're able to field more calls. The customers are happy because I'm not hanging on the phone for 10 minutes. I only need to stay on the phone for a few minutes. So this is really, really good. Now, I could go on all day, and I haven't looked at the chat because I don't like to do that while I'm going through this. But if you've got questions and you just can't seem to figure out, well, how am I going to articulate it, or here's my role, just throw them in the chat. We'll have a little talk about this. That's what it's there for. All right, here's what I get a lot of, though. And I always like, and I told you this, I tell you this in all my videos, and I told you this yesterday. We always want to talk about what not to do, and I always want to, as much as I can, want to illustrate some bad bullets that I see. But I see this a ton. And let me know, raise your hand if you feel like you're guilty. But these are common mistakes. I'm responsible for sales support. That's great. What does that entail? I bet that's about 25 activities. So let me know, paint me a picture. Help the sales team. How did you do that? So you might notice a difference here. You see how these bullets are really short and the bullets back here are long? I would rather you have 3 bullets for your job for 5 years than to have 10 bullets that look like this that tell me nothing. So when you're talking about and looking at length of bullet versus quality versus brevity, trust me when I tell you, if I see responsible for sales support, I've got a ton of questions. And what's likely going to happen, thanks to your short bullet, is I'm not going to call you. I'm not going to call you back. I'm not going to email you back, or I'm going to skip it if it's in the ATS system. Here's another one. Help sales team. How did you do that? Perform clerical activities. Initiated a task force. We did somebody's resume the other day. Initiated a task force. They didn't tell us what the task force did. They told us how many people were in the task force. Here's another one. Manage 10 people, supervise 10 people. So what? I want to know how many of those 10 people have been with you for how many years, and did they get promoted? And you've got to show evidence of what it is that you're doing from a value added standpoint. If you are managing people, you are doing a number of things. You are doing a number of things to make sure that your unit is rising and contributing, or you're mentoring those people so that they are rising individually. So these are things to keep in mind. Try to answer as many of the 7 questions as you can. If you don't answer all of them, it's not the end of the world. But I want you to know that's what's going through people's heads. That's what's going through people's heads. So here's kind of a general list of absolutely do nots. Absolutely do nots. This is across the board. Do not start your sentence with anything other than an action verb, with the exception of the career profile, education and all those. But in the career profile, it's a little more of a storyboard, so it's okay. But you should be increase, decrease, supported, added, whatever. Action verbs. Never, ever, ever, ever use vague terms. Don't tell me you did it and there were several of them, or you increased it many, or you did various activities, or anything of that nature. As soon as you tell me various, I'm going to say how many. How many? Take your best guess if you cannot remember. By the way, just so I don't forget this point, some of you might be saying, Andy, man, that's really hard. I don't have all that information. It's hard to remember. I understand that. But there is a journal, a checklist that I have that you can have for free. It's called the Career Achievements Journal. There are 14 pieces of information that you should collect for every project that you do. Every single project. The project could be a day long, or it could be a month or a year. But each time you have a major activity or a project, you should jot this down kind of in my journal format. It's a PDF that you can just go and Google Career Achievements Journal. We discovered yesterday, and I think this happened to us a few times before, we can't put links. YouTube, for some reason, doesn't let us put links in the live chat. Maybe I'll add it to the description afterwards, but grab the Career Achievements Journal so you can keep track of this stuff going forward, and you can use it to think back. But don't use vague terms. Never. Same. As many nevers. Don't include an opinion. So if you think you're a good leader, no one cares. You think that. I read a resume the other day. I'm considered one of the best. I'm considered one of the top in the industry. By whom? So you have to be very specific, and what you want to do is show evidence of why you are a great leader or why you're considered one of the best. But don't make that statement in your resume. You want factual data, or at least statements that can be substantiated with the words you're using on the paper. You're not there to explain it. Don't cite awards alone. I can't tell you how many resumes I see that say President's Award, top seller. It doesn't tell me anything. Well, President's Award out of how many people? Were you the top salesperson out of 100 or 2? So, what I want to know is, what did you do to win that award? If you want to tell me you won an award, throw it at the very end of the sentence, because that's not the lead. The fact that you won the award is not the lead. People think that that's what makes the resume look impressive. No, that's great that you won that award. I don't have any context of what that award means while I'm sitting reviewing your resume. So just make sure context is king. Don't use numbers without context. If you tell me you grew up by 150%, we talked about this a few slides back, I don't know what 150% is. So I don't know if I should be impressed or not. Anything, just try to stay away from generalities or anything that requires additional context. Under no circumstances should you ever use first or third person pronouns or anything like I, my, we in a resume. You don't need it. You can structure the sentences without it. It looks terrible. Save it for your bio. Don't use acronyms. I don't care if everybody in the healthcare space knows what a CDIE is or CIED or whatever it is. Make sure that you spell out the words, and you can use the little parentheses and create the acronym so you can save some real estate going forward. But don't assume that the person who's reading it knows what you're talking about. I couldn't tell you how many times I've reached to go to Google to look at the acronym and then thought to myself, no, I'm not going to go on with this resume because they're making me Google every other sentence. And so, I've recruited for over 200 companies and consulted for a lot, and I have a pretty good vocabulary. Just don't do that. And you might be wanting to change careers or shift industries, and the people on the other end, on the receiving end, won't know what you're talking about. So you just want to be really careful. Don't use internal company jargon. Try to neutralize the words and make them universal so that anybody who's reading it should be able to understand what you're talking about. So folks, and one last one, try to keep the tenses straight. So if it's your current job, then say, this is my current job, and talk in the present tense. So this is what I'm currently doing. And even if it's your current job, but your current capacity, but you're no longer doing it, you can move it to the past tense. But everything that's not in your current job should be past tense unless you are currently doing something. So if you're volunteering or anything of that nature, you can make it into the present tense. So let me flip over. Okay, so this is kind of I'm wrapping the instruction portion of this. I hope this was illustrative, and obviously we're going to have a healthy Q&A just like we did yesterday. But as I mentioned, this is part of my boot camp. So one thing that I want to do before we hop over is I just want to show you the boot camp for about quick 2 minutes. And because you guys are special guests and you were here, you and only you, and it was a real hit yesterday, and I've got two special offers for you, but I want to show you this boot camp. Now, on this page, this is the program overview. I mentioned it's a 5-session program. The sessions are live and there's a schedule, but there's also an on-demand version which is already recorded for you. And the live sessions, your live sessions, will also be recorded for you. So the first session is all about your headline, your elevator pitch, your why, your needs, and getting clarity around the questions you need to ask the employers to know whether the employer will satisfy your needs. This is a huge, huge effort. Actually, in that first session, I give the boot campers an Excel spreadsheet with something like 90 rows in it as a starting point for them to use to develop their needs and their questions. It's gold. They can chisel out whatever they don't want, but it is an awesome jump starter. It's really, really a great session. The second session, you got a little taste of what's in there. It's a 2-hour and 15-minute session. That's all on marketing. So it's not just the resume. I go into all the cover letters you need. I show you exactly how to use them, what to do, what to say, how to write them for different occasions, whether you're just job changing, whether you're applying for an opportunity that is not publicly advertised, whether you're switching careers, any of that stuff. I do a great LinkedIn demo. I show you all the backdoor stuff. I show you how to elevate your self in the search engine results. It's really fun. And then if you attended yesterday's session about why your job search is taking so long, this third bootcamp session is all about the job hunt, all the activities you should be doing, the planning, what those specific activities are, everything from how to research companies, how to look for publicized and non-publicized opportunities, how to network, how to target, how to build network maps, how to apply, how to submit your resume. We go into the applicant tracking system and all that good stuff. And then the fourth session is on interviewing. A lot of you know me from Interview Intervention. I literally wrote the book on interviewing. More than 100,000 people have that book. This is like Interview Intervention on steroids, all in one session. It's a couple of hours on everything you need to do, from prepping for the interview, getting ready, analyzing the company, getting ready for all the questions you're going to be asked, how you tell your stories, and how you interrogate the employer, how you sell yourself, how you close, and all that good stuff. And then I have a whole session on negotiating. I have negotiated more than $90 million in salaries in my life. And I think across all the people, nearly 600 people, there's been almost a $10,000 pay increase from our negotiating efforts on average. So I give you all the tactics, all the techniques, the psychology behind it. We talk about not just the negotiation itself, but how you position yourself along the way, how you handle all the questions along the way, and what to do. And so you can also take a dive in to see what the program looks like. You got a bunch of enrollment perks. I mail you a book. It's really kind of neat stuff. This here, starting next Wednesday, there's a live session that runs 2 weeks between the 17th and the 31st of January. You can see all those sessions are at 6 o'clock. If you can attend them, great. They're live. They're kind of like this. They're just for a much more private group, and we go into much, much more detail. Those are all recorded. As soon as it's done, I put it in your portal. The program is $497, and for that, you not only get the sessions and all the templates and all the techniques and all that good stuff, but you get access to all the Mile Walk Academy programs. That's the Ultimate Professional Resume, the Interview Intervention course, the Ultimate Career course. Those courses have bite-sized videos. So if you want to watch little individual lessons that encapsulate a lot of the boot camp teaching, you can leverage the courses to do that. Plus, you get some ongoing coaching. You get 3 more months of coaching from me. Plus, you get access to all of the CoachCast. That's my monthly coaching membership. All the archives for that are in there, and you can go and watch those all you want. Everything I offer, every single thing I offer is 100% guaranteed. You can try it out for 30 days. If you don't like it for whatever reason, whether it's sane or crazy, it doesn't matter. I don't ask any questions. I give you your money back. If you're an existing student, I have a trade-up program. So if you've paid, $147 or $197 for a program, you just pay the difference. So if you paid $197 for something, you now pay $300 for this to get yourself up to $497, because I want to make sure that I'm making this as easy as possible for you to enroll. But here's something else. And I had I want to look you in the baby blues to tell you this. So here you go. Here I'm back. So I have two other things I want to throw at you. Then we're going to get to all your questions. I get a lot of emails from people who say, Andy, I love that I found you. I wish I would have found you sooner. I've really been struggling. I've been applying for jobs. I'm not successful, so on and so forth. I invested in so-and-so's program, and I already spent $300. I got one the other day. I spent $97 in so-and-so's resume program, and it stunk. So I don't have a lot of money, and I'm a little gun shy, so I don't want to buy anything, but I really appreciate all your free stuff, so wish me luck. Well, if you're one of those people, I will, because I care so much about helping you and I want you to be successful and I don't want you to be gun shy, and I want you to remember, I have a money back guarantee, 100%. I will actually give you a credit. So think of it as a refund. Think of it as me refunding another trainer's dollars you spent with another trainer. If you've purchased from another trainer in the last 2 months and you just let me know how much you paid, send me the receipt. Say, I invested in so-and-so's resume program. Here's the $97 receipt. I will give you the $97 toward the boot camp. And if you've invested more than that, I will go up to $200. So if you bought a program, I talked to somebody today, spent $600 on an interview coach. It wasn't working. I said, okay, you can have a $200 credit and the boot camp cost you $297. So I want you to know that offer is good until Tuesday, January 16th, when this deal runs out. But if you enroll today for $497, meaning you pay the offer that's currently on the table until next Tuesday. If you pay the $497, you can have a 30-minute coaching call with me. Go through whatever you want. You can focus on whatever you want. It could be general. It could be very specific. You pick my brain. You ask me about anything. Talk about motivational stuff if you want. But I will offer that to you. So you can't kind of mix and match the discounts and the bonuses. But if you enroll for $497, or you're an existing student and you trade up, then you can have my 30-minute coaching call for free with me. But that offer expires when we stop streaming today. And I'll give you a 2-minute heads up. But if you want to enroll, go to the description of this session, and in the description is my Job Search Bootcamp link, that webpage that I was just on. Just go to it, click it, and enroll. We'll see the timestamp. We'll know if you jumped in during the session. But I would love to help you. I love talking to people. I love doing this directly. Obviously, I can't talk to every single person, but I just figured, you know what? You are investing your time and energy with me. I appreciate it. I value that you're part of my community. I want to try to do something nice and extra. So that offer is on the table until we hang up. All right, there's still a whole bunch of you. Now let's go to the chat. All right, Jack. Kara's here. Kara's always here and has my back. Wait, there's Jack Henry, Jack Fountain, Ronald Casper. He's back. Mom is here. Even my mom attends these things, folks, so be nice. Jeff Brew, Thomas Seymour. Dental photography made easy. Not sure. You got a handsome picture there, though. Joe, Caitlin. Is that DLDL? Lucky Hamburger's back. Chin May, Rachel Knapp. How you doing, Rachel? Hope you're doing great. Merv, Derek, Brad. Oh, my God. Lindsay, NL, Elaine, Don. I love it. Huntington Beach. You're by my family. Randall McMillan. Don, Ketna, Derek. So, oh, my God. You guys are great. All right, hang on. Let me see if I can find Kansas City, Beaverton, Philadelphia, Arizona, Michigan, Long Beach, Manhattan, Chicago. Somebody else is here with me enjoying this 50-degree weather. New Jersey, Denver, Washington. Oh, my God, you guys are great. Got any out of the country, man? We had so many. We had a ton out of the country. Oh, wait, we got Qatar there. This is great. All right. So I see, hang on, let me see. I know you early ones didn't get the note. Oh, there we go. Sean. All right, Kara, hit me with the Slack. Let me know if Sean is the first question. It says, hi, Andy. I love your work. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. I had a second interview in person. First was the phone interview last week, Friday. So 6 days ago. I'm wondering about the decision from the employer. How long should I wait, and should I approach? Sean, number one, thank you for starting us off. And that is a fantastic question. You guys come up with some darn good questions. And yesterday was great. And today I would expect nothing less. So, folks, Sean's got a great one here. You should follow up. I want to extend Sean's question not only to the interviews, but to your resume submittals. Let's go back a step. Let's just say you submit your resume and you throw it into an ATS, or you email it to a person who says to send it, or you email it to a general email box like recruiting@company XYZ. 7 calendar days. 7 calendar days from the time you submit to the time you follow up for your resume. That's a good one. A week is plenty of time to wait. Some folks won't get to them that quickly. That's okay. You're just following up. Just want to know if there's any disposition on that. If you go in for an interview, that's a little different. So if you go into an interview, one of a couple things is going to happen. You're going to finish, now in Sean's case, and whether this is on the phone or whether this is in person, Sean, one of the things you didn't mention, but this is important, is did the employer say, we will get back to you by? So a lot of times what will happen is they'll say, it's great meeting you, we'll get back to you soon. Or it's great meeting you, we'll get back to you, we have some other candidates that we want to interview. Or we will get back to you by Friday. We will get back to you by whenever. So here's what I do. If there is no response, meaning, hey, it's great, we're going to get back to you, then I wait 7 days, 7 calendar days, and then you email your contact, whether that's the recruiter, the hiring official, whoever. Hey, just checking in. I want to express my interest. By the way, one other thing. For those of you who do not have my winning thank you template, after every single interview, send that thank you template, fill it in, send it off immediately within 24 hours. Then they might respond, they might not. If they don't, wait 7 days and then email them something casual, but professional. Hey, so-and-so, I just wanted to follow up. I really enjoyed the interviews. I'm continue to be excited about the opportunity. I was wondering if you've made any determination about next steps. That's it. Just short and quick. 7 days. Okay, if they tell you, we will get back to you by Wednesday, they give you a specific day, and we all know this happens, folks. They don't honor their word. Their word apparently is not their bond. They don't get back to you by Wednesday. In my opinion, a company that says, I will get back to you by Wednesday, should get back to you by Wednesday no matter what. Meaning, if they don't have an answer, they should get back to you by Wednesday and say, we have not decided yet. Fine, you at least responded. But if they say, we will get back to you by this date, then what I would do is I would wait 2 days after the date that they specify. So if they say Wednesday, you don't hear from them on Friday morning's fine, email them that and say, hey, just wanted to check in. I know you mentioned, I'm excited, all that stuff. And I know you mentioned Wednesday. It's been a couple extra days. I thought I would check in. If they say, we will get back to you in a week or so, now they're being vague. So I will get back to you in a week or so. If they say a week or so, you take them at whatever they said, or 2 weeks or whatever, and then you wait 2-3 days, and then you email them. So I think I covered it all. The answer is, I gave you how long you should wait depending on what they tell you, and you should approach it. So I hope that helps. Sean, awesome question. Ryan, good to see you. Lindsay, when are we getting started? Are we, hopefully you were on. Sorry I'm late. Peter's back. Peter, thank you for the LinkedIn invite. That was wonderful. By the way, if you folks are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, I hope you will subscribe. And if you like what we're doing here, give me a like, a comment, and a share. And if you are on LinkedIn, connect up with me. I love having connections. And you are nice, wonderful people. And as long as you're nice and professional, I'm happy to help you. And you can leverage my network. I am very well connected, and you're welcome to do that. But on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed so you can get my alerts, and we can do these things for you. I've got video series and other things on YouTube that I don't have on my blog. And always comment, share, and so on. All right, let me see. Derek, profession, Don, Derek, I'm not sure what that is. Robert, good to see you, buddy. All right, Ryan, dental photography made easy. Is that Dennis Rippey? I think you guys are talking to each other, which I like. Hopefully the sound is working. I'm all muted so we don't have any echoes. So I need somebody to tell me if the sound's not working. Let me see. Just buzzing through. Don is in sales. I love that. Jack Fountain is talking to Sean here. I love this. Jack's got a great point. So Sean was asking how long he should wait to follow up. But one thing you should always do is say, I'm excited. What's the next steps? When do I expect to hear back from you? What would the next steps be? And so on. So Jack is suggesting that. Jack, I wholeheartedly agree. That's great stuff. Ronald Casper, how many bullets are required to get through the ATS? So on applicant tracking systems, folks, applicant tracking systems are not nearly as smart as you think they are. A lot of times they are blowing you out, and you're not getting seen for technical errors that have nothing to do with the format of your resume or how many bullet points you have. Applicant tracking systems are looking for words. They don't care if they're in bullet form or they're in paragraph form. So it's not about how many bullets are required. It's about, and Ronald, and for everybody else, and I know we mentioned this, and I always seem to get this asked on my live webinars and my coaching calls, but one thing I always recommend for the applicant tracking system, aside from the fact that it should be the last resort, there's many better techniques that you can use to get your resume in front of the people you need to. But if you do need to submit your resume into the applicant tracking system, I would recommend highly that you use a site like jobscan.co, so it's jobscan.co, and take your resume, I think it's like Word format, take the job description, and if it's, either download it or put it in a Word doc, send it in, or maybe you just send in the plain text. I'm not all that familiar with the site. I just know that I've checked it out a few times, but a lot of my students and people on my webinars use it with great success. It'll give you an indication of how aligned your resume is to the job description that you've put in. And then what I would do is I would look to see if you can get that get that a little bit more in alignment. So I hope that helps. Marco, good to see you. Let me see. Andy, do you think experience international, it's a good bullet point to put in a resume? I think what you mean is international experience. Yes, I do think that is, and especially if you're looking to move your location, right? If you're in Europe, and we have a lot of people. I have people in every inhabited continents that are out there that use our same formula for the resume. Every inhabited continent who use the format, the resume format that I have as part of our coaching. They're having great luck with it, and a lot of them want to move to different countries, whether it's in Europe or whether they're moving to the U.S. or whatever. But if you have international experience, whether you're inside the U.S. or going out, or whether you just want to show that you're a global, your experience globally, or whether you want to move, I think it's a great idea. I do think it's a great idea. That in and of itself is a story and can be a differentiator. Okay, let me see. Chinmay. Being an entry-level software developer, what kind of revenue-generated values can I mention in the resume? Well, actually, Chinmay, you might not have any revenue-generated activities. Those 8 that I was showing are just an idea of 8 great ones that employers tend to love. But a lot of times, entry-level software developers are developing software that's optimizing processes or making technologies more efficient. I would be talking about process efficiency, technology efficiency. There might be cost reduction, things that you are doing. You might be developing software that is making somebody else's job easier. That is cost reduction. That is process optimization. I would think you, as an entry level, you're probably a little bit more geared towards some of those other of the grade 8. So not necessarily revenue generated. It could be revenue generated if you created a web page that people were using to buy things. You might, it might be, I created a website that's used to buy $1 million worth of my company's products. That's revenue generation. So it depends on how you look at it, but you don't need to hit all of those. So that was just trying to give you an idea. Do you suggest bullets in columns? That's Nelson. I do not. I do not. I keep the resume clean. And as a matter of fact, Nelson, if you don't have it, take the resume template. Folks, just so you understand, the resume template is in a PDF because it is downloaded from the internet, and I'm sending it to you, and it's safer. And it's the way I designed it. All you need to do is grab it and copy it out and put it into a Word document. But I would check that. I would check that out, and I would use that format. That is what I recommend. It gets great results. I have thousands of emails from people who use that and tell me that it transformed the number of interviews that they got. Some of them was going to an ATS. Some of them were going directly via email, but they said they saw a precipitous uptick. I would highly recommend using that format. Do not put the bullets in columns. As a matter of fact, I'm not a fan of columns of any kind in the resume, it really doesn't do you any favors from a real estate standpoint. All right, Nelson, again, I think you have another question there. Employees' happiness, do you associate numbers with that or just say that with words? Well, how have the employees, how are the employees happier? Is there anything that you can do to quantify in some illustrated fashion that the employees are happier? Now, Nelson, I don't know what your job is, and forgive me if you said it and I missed it, but if you're an HR person or you're in recruitment, your employee happiness scores that your company should be surveying for are numbers. Did you raise them from 3.0 to 3.5 or from 4.0 to 4.5 or something in that nature? Do you have employees who you are doing something that is helping them get promoted? Is there some vehicle that you can point to about the numbers? There's many different ways to quantify employee happiness, but I would look to see what kind of position you're in to determine what those numbers should be. And many of you can quantify these things. It might be an indirect quantification, but you can make the association. The most important thing about what you put on your resume is that you can back it up. And when I say back it up, you don't need to give me the algorithm of how you computed the fact that the number went from this to that. But in the stories and the responses that you tell me, you better make me believe you that you could do that. That's the most important thing when I mean about substantiation. Ryan, good to see you again, buddy. ATS usually have it split up per job. How do you integrate the career profile highlights into an ATS form with that design? Repeat the profile on each position or just most recent, for example. So ATSs are a bit different. Sometimes they just want you to attach a resume. Sometimes they have sections and they say, work experience, this job, put it in. So what I would do is I would probably take either pieces of your career profile, the ones that are most appropriate for that particular section, and I would put it there in that job. Once you get the profile in and you get the highlights in, if you can do it that way, you'll be okay. That's okay. The applicant tracking system is also likely looking at an attached resume to create a score. So I hope that helps. I don't everyone's a little bit different. All right. Kim is asking, never address us and add in executive assistants. I'm not sure. Kim, are you asking that I didn't address that as a sample or I'm not sure, but executive assistants have loads of things that they do that can be quantified. So I'm not sure what you mean, but ask me that again here. So all your numbers are in bullet section. So Nelson, that's a statement, but I do want to comment about this. If you take a look at the resume template, there is and Ryan just mentioned this, there is a career profile section, which is an aggregation of your work history. There should be numbers up there. And then there's a highlights section, which is 3, 4 at the most, very specific highlights that you did or performed in your work life. They should be up at the top. Those should also have numbers in them. If you can quantify things, the more you can quantify, the better. But I would put it all the way throughout. And every bullet, if you can, quantify. Every bullet doesn't need to be quantified. It's just I'm trying to give you the formula so that you can write the perfect bullet. And trust me, the resume is this wide. A lot of those bullets only take up 2 lines. So keep that in mind, because I saw some questions in here about the length of the bullet. I don't think I've gotten to them yet. All right, Peter. How do you quantify the money value aspect in your bullet if you don't have the figures? You estimate it. Peter, I would take my best guess. I honestly would. I would think back to, if I'm managing a project and I didn't remember the budget, and I would try to think, well, how many people for how long and what's the average cost and so on and so forth. I mean, I would literally take a good guess. And if there's anybody back at that you've worked with where you can collect some of that data, that's what I would do. But I would do my best to try to get figures in there, especially if it's the type of bullet that should have figures. So especially if you did cost reduction, you saved the company, you reduced something, you generated revenue, those kind of things. All right. Dental photography made easy. Question, generated over $400 million in revenue in multiple markets, outstanding, outperformed revenue goals, earning 12 IBM, IBM the company, I'm assuming, 100% club, drove territory growth up to 60%. I'm not sure what the question is. Hit me again. Okay, Jeff Brew, good to see you. Dental photography made easy. Negotiated key vendor relationships, maximizing solution value. Speaker, Rocky Mountain Dental Convention. I'm not sure. Are you asking me to critique the bullet, or I'm not sure what your question is. I'm going on. Let me see if I... Chinmay's asking, aren't such bullet points long for one-page resumes? Well, first off, I don't know if your resume your resume does not have to be one page. As a matter of fact, your resume, in my opinion, and I think you would find a lot of so-called experts agree with this, you can have a 2-page resume. I don't know how long you've been working, but if you have a 1-page resume, it likely means you don't have a lot of work experience. Anybody who's been working for 5 years can have a 2-page resume. And so no, I don't think the bullets are too long. I really don't. And I'm telling you, this is the formula we use in the resume workshop and in the boot camp, and these people are getting results. So I wouldn't be too concerned. I see the bullets are huge. Yes, can a bullet be too long? Yes, a bullet can be too long. So figure out, is there a way for you to trim it? So how can you say what you want to say in as few words as possible? All right. Minor bit. Well, okay, come on. Don't beat yourself up. Peter, wait, this is a good one. Peter is noting here there are some good websites for action verbs for resume. That's cool. That's cool. I like it. All right. Dental photography, again, these 7-point concept tips are great. How does this methodology differ from skill bullets? Actually, when you say skill bullets, I think that when you put a bullet together that tells a story, it should connotate the skills that you have. Now, if you're talking about hardcore skills, like I know you must be in the dental field, but for technologists who have technologies that they develop software in, and you're listing, I'm skilled in this programming language or that software product and so on, you list them, you can put them in a skills section, you can actually put some of those in your career profile. But if you give me an example of, and I'm going to see if I can find it, because you were listing some stuff. I mean, you obviously generated over $400 million in revenue, so you're selling. You have sales skills. So what I do is I'm not huge on just listing skill bullets. In the career profile, I would indicate what your core competencies are, and selling and growing accounts and those kind of things are core competencies. Core competencies, folks, are about business functions and that you understand and have done, and specific skills that you have. They are not about opinions like I'm a good leader or I'm detail-oriented or I'm a self-starter. Those are characteristics, traits, and they happen to be opinions that have no place in a resume. Take them all out. I literally would read every word in your resume and take all those out. Take all the ones that say various, many, and all that and replace them with numbers. Okay. Great tips. This has been useful. Great. Glad you like it. Are there sample templates? Yes, you can download those. Okay. Lucky Hamburger, good to see you again. If I apply for engineering jobs, can I write using what kinds of method to do a certain project, like finite element analysis? Will HR think that's something very alien and hard to understand? If it's finite element analysis, that to me explains what it is. If the HR person doesn't understand that, in your particular case, that's okay. I mean, they've got to understand that that is a very specific technique or analysis. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. All right, Robert Tatum, question. The information that you gave helps a whole lot. Great, I'm glad to hear it. Just to clarify, no more than 3 targeted bullets using this structure for each job recommended. Correct. Okay, so what Robert's asking is, should there be no more than 3 bullets per job? So I don't have a hard and fast rule. I'd like to answer this a little bit differently because everybody's situation is a little different. You might be somebody who's been at a company for 20 years and you were in the same job for 10. Okay, well, that might take a little longer to explain. If you only held this position for a year, that might be a little different. Here's how I would structure the resume from a flow standpoint. Your most recent job, and here again, there's many variations of this because it depends on your tenure, how long you were at this job, whether or not you would like to continue in that field. We get that one a lot. Hey, I used to do what I really liked. I'm not doing it anymore. I want to get back to it. So there's many variations of this, but I'm going to give you a general outline here. The current job should have the most information. The next job should have the next most information. The next job, and so on. The further away you get from today, the less information and less real estate you ought to take up on the resume. So when you get way back, if you're a 20-year vet and you're talking 20 years ago, it should be very thin. On my resume, for example, this is something we talk about in the program, in the resume workshop. My first job was 10 years long. So I worked for a consulting firm. It was Anderson Consulting. It's now Accenture. And I did a whole lot of things. I started out as a developer. I was a software person. I designed programs. I managed projects. I started selling them, managing accounts, and so on, managing tons of people and lots of revenue. I have one sentence in my resume for 10 years. Sold and managed projects ranging from 5 million to 25 million, managing team sizes of blah, blah, blah. It's one bullet. It's just a little paragraph. It takes up that much real estate. So, it depends. I don't have a hard and fast rule. It also depends on the length of your bullets. The bullets I was giving you were complete, and they could have even been shorter. Those could have been shorter, but I wanted to take the ones that the people actually used because I think they were good. I think they were solid. I think they answered the questions. So I hope that helps. I don't have a hard and fast rule, though, on that. All right, let's keep going here. Angela, I find myself having a difficult time with this. How do we EAs or admin assistants quantify? Angela, that's a great question. Maybe the people we supported are full details or tasks. All right, executive admins rejoice. Here's some ideas. And Kim, and I hope that's what you were getting at, and so hopefully I'm catching up and getting your question answered. Executive admins do a lot of stuff. Okay, you might be managing schedule, you might be answering the phones, you might be interacting as liaison between your boss and the outside world. It might be the inside world, it might be different units in the company, it might be with partners. There's a whole host of things that you do. Start to think about anything you can tell me a number about. Well, I don't know. How many people do you support? How many units do you support? How many different functions and duties do you have? Do you have 10 duties? 10 duties including, list them out. How much customer service time do you spend externally handling issues? 40% of my job is this. These are all numbers that give the reader a visual. So there's tons of ways that you can quantify that stuff. So think about anything you can actually quantify. You might be managing spreadsheets for budgets. How big is the budgets? Those kinds of things. Anything that you do that, and executive admins, there's a wide range of them, and they do a lot of different things for a lot of different people. I mean, we had my wife and I, we just moved into this home in October, and we had a real estate agent, and that real estate agent had an executive administrator that supported not only her, but the entire office. But she did a whole lot of stuff. And so, how many clients is she communicating with and coordinating? How many homes did her real estate agent sell that she supported? I mean, anything that you can think of that paints a picture to show the magnitude of what you contribute is valid in my opinion. Okay, so I hope that helps. All right. True is asking me, didn't you mention there should be no bullet points in a resume? No, I did not mention that. I'm not sure if you're asking me. Or is that irrelevant when it comes to quantified achievements? So, folks, let me clarify. I would definitely suggest downloading the professional resume template. You will note that in the career profile section, I recommend 2 paragraphs. Then there's the highlights section. I recommend 3 bullet points. Then there is the professional work experience section, professional experience. I recommend you list the company name, then a little summary of the company and your relation and what you do at that company, then your title, then your bullet points. So if you take a look at the template, you'll see it. But yes, bullet points are a way of life. Sixto, good to see you, man. You're enjoying this 50-degree weather with us? And you have a question. Should the one bullet with quantifiable measurement include the impact it made with your department in the organization, or should it be separate? No, make it one bullet. It's one story. It's all together. All right, Sixto asked one more right in the wake of that. I have experience in security management and truthfully dealt with, I'm not sure what that, respicans and reactions and monitoring and inspections, but not numbers like a budget. Well, security management, I'm assuming you're talking about not physical security, but actually networking security and those kind of things. How many systems are you securing? What is your latency? There's a number of things that, uptime, I know you guys try to break stuff. What's your percentage of shielding? I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff you can do there if you're talking about that. Actually, that was your next question. Okay, dental photography made easy is back. Sorry for the confusion with my questions. I started with, you guys are plopping. Okay, sorry for the confusion with my questions. I started with sales at IBM, 21 years, awesome. Left to be a self-employed consultant, cool. Working to get back into IT as a PM or business analyst. Okay, so I'm not sure there again what the question is, but that's cool. I mean, that's a good, colorful background. Sixto here again. Should the one bullet with okay, wait, he already said that. Drunken monkey first. Does one need to put skills near the top for someone looking to get into the software project manager role, especially if they're junior? I have tech skills, but I have no jobs in the field. So, drunken monkey fist. And for all of you who are in the software field, and for those of you who are architects and designers and coders and all that good stuff, one of the things that I recommend is I'm not a fan of listing skills in columns. It takes up real estate. Columns are boring. The ATS gets confused. So the second paragraph of the career profile should list your core competencies. So you have skills in software development or technology, whatever it is, or maybe it's software project management or something of that nature. Then what you can put is skilled in, and then list whatever languages or technical skills, hardcore technical skills that you have, and make that kind of the second sentence of that second paragraph. Then what you could do at the bottom of the resume, if you want, this is kind of a variation from my template, you can add a skills section and list your skills, and I would just list them in kind of sentence format with commas that just show, or if there's certifications you want to list them, that's fine, but don't exceed the 2 pages. I hope that helps. All right, Angela, you are welcome. Sixto here again. I have experience in security management, truthfully dealt with responses to emergencies and reactions and monitoring and inspections, but not numbers like a budget. It's okay, buddy. I mean, all those things can be... Folks, when you are handling a lot of stuff over a long period of time, it's okay to quantify in terms of on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a quarterly basis, on a whatever. You can, what you're trying to do is you're just trying to give the reader a clear picture of what it is you're communicating and the impact that you've had, that you've made. But the bigness is there when you can paint it like that. All right. Oh, sorry. Sorry, you guys are just going fast and furious here. It looks like I missed a question. Uh-oh. Hey, Kara, do me a favor. Oh, wait, Kara's gone. Sorry, guys, I'm flying alone here. All right, hang on. I think it's TPGJES71. I know you were on last night. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. Oh, I got it. It says, should we state last drawn salary and reason for leaving in a resume? Great questions. Never. No and no. Your compensation, your reason for leaving has no place in the resume. Don't waste any real estate doing that. And a lot of times those things need to be communicated verbally and need context. Do not, and it's too easy for them to be misconstrued in a resume. So no, definitely not. All right, wait, something happened here. I must have, sorry folks, the chat is super long and I'm trying to get, let me see. Guys, good. Okay, wait, I think oh, my wife, Linda. Some of you who are in my boot camp know my wife. She is the love of my life, and I can't imagine how I ever lived without her for almost a half a century. So Linda's here to help me, and Linda, I'm a little lost here. From Florida, thanks. Okay, Angela as an admin. Sorry, I'm just looking here. Okay, wait, I think I'm back on track. I think I've got Angela Isaac here again as an admin assistant. I can quantify the people I support and give full description on my tasks, and I know how to use power verbs, manage senior vice president's calendar. Yes, that's great. That's perfect. Love it. Sean, he's talking about me. They said they will get back to me late next week. That is tomorrow. Okay, so you're going around. Okay, TPGJES71. I got another question in here I found from you. Hi, Andy. I am Jasmine from Malaysia. Wonderful. Thank you. I wonder what time it is there. Is there a max number of page guideline for a great resume? 2 is the maximum, folks. If I could get a 30-year career down to 26 words, you can get your professional experience down to 2 pages. And if you are laughing at me because you don't think you can get it down to 2 pages, I'm telling you, you are putting in stuff that is way over the top, that is not bullet worthy, it's not resume worthy. We don't need to see every single thing that you've ever done. We need to get a sense of the impact and your skills and all that good stuff. So 2 is the magic number. Don, how should you handle initial phone interview nervousness? Don, one of the things that I'd recommend is I have a ton of videos on my YouTube channel and my blog. One of them is about job interview confidence. I would definitely check that out. It's got a lot of great tips of how to prepare to get rid of your nervousness. It's the best answer I can give you right now. I mean, it'll be good. It'll really help you. Okay, Ryan Dennis, 2 pages to a resume. Nelson's right on that. Let's see, Jasmine again. I have been in quality management for 22 years. I have experience in 6 companies. Should I only state experience latest 3 to 5 or all of it? Okay, folks, here, that is a great question. Let's broaden that thing up because I know there are a lot of you who actually have, 6, 8 companies in your career, and maybe you've been working like me 30, 40 years or whatever it is. What I recommend is, depending on the quantity of years at each company, because, so for example, I've been working 30 years, but my first job was 10 years. So way long ago, I had a 10-year run, and then my second job was 5 years. And then I had a couple years, and then I opened up Mile Walk, and then the rest has been my own business. But you might be somebody who, when you were 22, you got a job for 2 years, and then you had another job for 2 years, and another job for 2 years, and you've been working for 20 years. What you can do, the spirit of the guideline that I want to give you is the further away from today that you go, the less real estate on the resume you need to take up. If you've worked for a bunch of companies, within a 5 or 6 year span, and you've been working for 22 years, what you can do is at the bottom of the resume, just say, between 1990 and 1995 and 2000 or whatever it is, worked for reputable companies such as, and then list 3 of them right away, and then performing what kind of duties in general, and that's it. And now that gives them a complete picture. If you want to drop it off because it's not really relevant, that's okay too. I don't have a problem with that. But there's different ways to handle that. So there's no hard and fast rule how many companies you want to put on, because it's really, you want to make sure that the employer is getting a sense of the skill sets that you bring. And those early jobs for some of you are still relevant. The fact that you learned certain things in those jobs, whether it's selling skills or technical skills or whatever it might be. Okay. Hey, I want to reiterate, we're gonna be closing it down here in a wee bit. So if you got any questions about the boot camp, the offer still stands. If you enroll now for $497, you get the 30-minute coaching call with me. If you want to do the trade up, you just email me. You let me know. If you want to do the trade up and get the 30-minute call, you just email me and let me know. I'll know that you sent it during this session. Okay, back to your questions. Crystal is asking, can you please make a note of that site in your description box? But Crystal, I'm not sure which site you were talking about. I don't know if it was jobscan.co that you were asking about. So jobscan, just like it sounds, JOBSCAN.co. All of my sites are in the description. So I hope that helps. Let me see. So Robert Bowers is asking, who should I be seeking out if I am trying to define who I am, my brand, and my target? Robert, I'm glad I just mentioned my boot camp. The whole first session of the boot camp is all about who you are and what you're about and what you need and your requirements and all that good stuff. So you can seek me out if you want. I got you covered. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Okay, Jasmine again. Should we state last round salary? Okay, I think I already got that one. All right, Jeff Brew. Part 1 had a great discussion with the hiring manager. Discussion got to the point where she started describing the territories. Jeff's a salesperson, folks, and that I should apply for both. He and then decide later. Okay, so context, since I know Jeff and he's like super Mile Walk Academy guy. Jeff is targeting a company. They had 2 positions that were, kind of one and then the next one up, I think. And he's saying he's had a great discussion. Now, he's asking me a question. I applied on the career website as directed by the hiring manager, and 24 hours later received a canned rejection email stating they had other more qualified candidates. What gives here? So Jeff and everybody else, those systems are probably programmed and set to automatically reject everything that comes in. So that probably didn't pass a certain sniff test. So they took your resume. You actually had a conversation with somebody who likes your background. Then she told you to submit it. Then the applicant tracking system looked at your resume, probably against the 2 jobs that you submitted it for, and said it doesn't match close enough, send them an auto rejection email. That's probably what happened. Just so you folks know, and let's take this a step further. So what gives? That's probably what gives. I would just email her back and let her know and say, what are the next steps? I know you enjoyed my background and so on. There are stories out there. I read them all the time. Some companies, when they're testing applicant tracking systems, take the resumes of their best employees and they put them into the system. And more often than not, those systems would have rejected their best employees. That's just head scratching, but it's true. And I talked yesterday about why your job search is taking so long. If you're spending a lot of time putting your resume into applicant tracking systems, you have a 97% chance of getting rejected just like that and never being seen by a human. So you really want to rethink the job search activities that you perform. So I hope that helps. All right, let me see. I'm zipping away. Kim, need examples of EAs. I hope that helped. I answered that before. Journey success for bullets. If you give the story and try to answer all the questions that you highlighted in this training, is there a limit to the length of the bullet? So a lot of those bullets, you're looking at them at 30-point font on a PowerPoint presentation. Those bullets are about 2 lines long. That's bullet, line. That's it. That's all they were. Some of them weren't even 2 full lines. Those are not nearly as long as you think they are. They really are not. When you spread it on an 8.5 by 11 and you got 0.8 or 1 inch margins on the left and right side, which I think we use the 1 inch margin. So they're really not nearly as long as you think. All right. Let me see. Angela, I find myself. Let's see, I also find myself having a difficult time. Angela's an admin. How do we EAs quantify? Okay, we talked about that. Noble, I answered some of these. I think I was off in the wrong section of the chat here. I got some of these. Just looking down, folks, just trying to get through some more here. Okay, this is a good one. All right, Nelson. It looks like a statement, but I want to clarify this. Nelson said, "So we don't put core competencies section with your template anymore," is what you're saying. Customer service, sales, etc. That is not what I'm saying. In the career profile, when you talk about who you are and what you've done, you're aggregating your bigness. One of the things you absolutely need to include in the career profile is the core competencies. You can literally say, core competencies include, and then list them out. Customer service, sales, and so forth. Then as you start to go down through the resume, you're seeing the highlights, and then you're seeing all the bullets that are substantiating that you are a customer service person, or you are a seller, or you are a leader, or whatever, manager, whatever it is, or you understand budgeting, forecasting, debits and credits, whatever it might be. So yes, put them in. And yes, Sixto, I'm flying alone, and my wife is upstairs with the dogs. Okay. Does bullet points, okay, UBI print, hey there. Does bullet points method similar to the STAR interview approach? The STAR interview approach, situation, action, response, right? All that good stuff. I guess I never really thought about it that way, but I suppose, yeah, I suppose. All right. Let me see. Robert Lawn. My understanding is that prospective employers can't ask about previous salaries. Is that nationwide or just here in California? As a matter of fact, these laws are changing so quickly, and it is not universal. But employers, in many of them that ask on the application, they are asking for previous salaries. Use your, I'm a fan of giving that information, but it's okay if you don't. But what I would definitely not do is tell them a desired salary at all costs. All right. TYVM80. Yeah, Don, great. Watch that video. Different locations, same position. Sixto again for 7 years experience. How many bullet points preferred? Okay, so he had the same position, different locations for 7 years. So Sixto, what I would do is you put the position, then you put, worked at this position at these locations, boom, 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 boom. So you give a descriptor of the position, I was this at these locations and so on. That, was the, without using the pronouns, but basically, tell the descriptor where you worked. Then, 3 bullets for 7 years or 4 should cover it. 3 years could be 1 bullet, could be 3 bullets. It depends how many various things you did and how many projects you worked on. So it's really, these are not, I don't want you guys to get too hung up on, do I have too many bullets? Do I have too few bullets? Just remember, ask yourself the question, is this bullet worthy? Go back to those 8, the golden and great 8 best ways to prove your value on a resume. Actually, I have a video out there called 8 ways to prove your value on your resume, and I go into detail about those things. You should check that out. That's in the resume playlist on the YouTube channel. But don't stress out. It's about the quality of the content and the what and the how you say it. That's what matters more so than the number of bullets. But you will be surprised that 7 years you might not need more than 3 bullets. Okay, let me see. Thank you for answering. Oh, wow. Malaysia, it's 8:20 a.m. I love it. So it's already Friday where you are. I think it's Friday where you are. Thank you for answering. By the way, folks, all right, a few minutes left to get in on the free coaching call, and I am back tomorrow, but we're midday my time, 11 o'clock Eastern, and we're going to talk about how to use the job description to ace any interview. I am going to talk about how to look at it and how to evaluate it and how to really surface information out of it. It's pretty cool stuff. So hopefully you can join me for that. That's at 11 Central, 12 Eastern, and what would that be? 9 o'clock Pacific. All right, I'm applying for, all right, let me see. Nelson, you are welcome. HC, hi, I am applying for engineering programming jobs. Should I list my relevant skills at the top or the bottom of the resume? This is going to sound silly, but you might want to list them both, depending on what those skills are. So folks, and this is for all you technologists, one of the things you want to do is, and I really strongly suggest you guys watch 3 Secrets to Get Your Resume Noticed, and how a reviewer reviews your resume and where their eyes go, and specifically what they're looking at and what they're looking for. And HC, if you sent me your resume, I would look at the top, and I'd look at your name, and then I'd look at the career profile, which is should be at the top. And I'm looking for an executive summary of you. I should be able to tell from that career profile, which I will not read in its entirety immediately because I'm only glancing, who you are and what you're about. And up top, if I'm looking for a technologist, it would be sweet to see you are skilled in this, and this in sentence format. Skills include in sentence format as part of your, core competencies include, technical skills include, and list the money skills, the 3 to 5 money skills that you have. And then at the bottom, if you have a skills section and there are more skills that you have or more languages that you know or more software products that you've used and you have a greater list, then repeat those skills, the ones you put up top, and list all the other ones. Folks, it sounds ridiculous, but trust me when I tell you, no one is actually reading your entire resume word for word. They're scanning it. So if I see right away you've got what I'm looking for up top, I'm going to be excited. And that's going to reshape the way psychologically that I think through the rest of your resume. And most of them are skimming and they're missing half of it anyway. So, people say, well, gee, should the highlights be different than the bullets? No, you want to repeat certain things. It sounds silly, but people don't catch it the first time. They don't know, and they also want context where you did that highlight, or they want to see the full list of skills. It's okay to repeat it. So I put it in both places. I hope that helped. And I know it might have sounded weird. Jeff Brew, you're welcome. Rachel Knapp, great to see you. You are finishing your undergrad in May, and I'm looking for my first jobs. Many roles I'm interested in require technical skills not necessarily taught in a bachelor's degree. Okay. How can you express your willingness and ability to be trained in these skills in the application to be suitable for the role? So Rachel, that's a great question. One of the things that I would do if you can. I always encourage this to all the college students because this is a common issue. First thing is, if you can, the best scenario is get yourself trained. Take some certification training, do it on your own if you can. It's an awesome resume builder. If you cannot, I realize it's not feasible for everybody. Some people might be working 2-3 jobs just to pay for college. What employers are generally looking for in entry-level people is that you have some transferable skills that will give you a head start in what it is that you're going to be doing technically for them. So as an example, I was an electrical engineering undergraduate student, and I took a couple of computer classes. It was like Fortran and Pascal and something like that. So I was really dating myself. When I graduated, I went to Anderson Consulting, what's now Accenture, and I was going to be a software engineer. So I needed these technical skills, and I was programming a lot in languages I'd never heard of or never used. But I was able to say, hey, look, I'm technologically I have a technical mindset. I'm analytical. I know how to develop, software in general. And you're articulating the fact that you have skills and traits and other things that you've developed that are transferable to the whatever it is that the company wants you to do. And most of the organizations that are hiring college students that are graduating recognize that they're going to have to train them up. So the on-the-job training is going to be great. What you want to make sure of is that you're looking at those companies that you're targeting. What are the required skills that they're looking for? And then figure out, are there any analogous skills that you have? So you might be able to, so for my example, when I went to Anderson Consulting, when I went to the interviews, I talked to people. I said, what software languages is popular that you're developing software in? And then I looked at what I had, and then I just made analogies that, this is, these are somewhat common because. And so you're always trying to make analogies of what you have and how it can be applied. If you do not have it, and actually, by the way, as an announcement, I'm going to be giving away free copies of Interview Intervention starting next month. That's actual physical copies wherever you are in the world. It's free. I'm going to mail it. I bought it for you. I'm going to mail it to you. It's like a $6 or $7 handling and shipping charge or whatever. That's it. In the book, there is my silver bullet interview questions. Question number 10 is, how do you educate yourself? Not that you necessarily get asked that question, but anytime any of you are in an interview and you get asked a question about skills you do not have, that answer, the way it's shaped and framed, and there's 3 parts to it, check it out, or get the ebook or whatever. But that's the way I would respond to that. So I hope, and I think, I just want to make sure, how can you express your voice? And the other thing too is in cover letters. Talk about your interest in learning these kinds of skills, and that you have a background in these types of things, but you are interested in learning those types of things, which are the things that the company needs. So I hope that helps. Let me see. Jasmine, yes, it's Friday morning. I need my coffee. So tomorrow at 11, it's going to be Saturday for you, and hopefully you'll be on that one. All right. Folks, I am getting ready. It's 6:37. We are running another one at about 100 minutes here. Let me answer a couple more. And if any of you are on the fence on the boot camp, you got about 3 or 4 minutes to jump in. And before I answer these last couple, again, if you're enjoying this, I want you to give me a like, a comment, and a share. And one other thing, if you are on my email list, you're already a Tips for Work and Life subscriber. You got an email about this session. If you are not on my Tips for Work and Life email subscription list and you are simply a YouTube subscriber, I hope you all are subscribers, hang on to this URL because I'm not going to release this video publicly for a little while. So if you want to go back and watch it, you're going to need the unlisted link, which you all have for being here. So you want to make sure, share this with yourself right now, or do whatever. Go to the share button and share it to yourself and email it or whatever. But hang on to that link because it's going to be unlisted, but you can come back and watch it because you already have it. All right, now let me go through this. Iris, I'm not sure if that's Iris SM or Irisum Lee. Should the benefits you achieved in the job be put in the achievement section rather than the bullet point? What do you do in the job description? I'm not sure, Iris, what you mean there. Basically, the resume template that I recommend has a career profile section, a career highlights section, a work experience section, an education, other section, and so on. In the highlights section and in the work experience section are where the bullets and the benefits and all that stuff should go. So I hope that's clear. And if not, I would definitely watch How to Build the Ultimate Professional Resume. It's the 19-minute video I mentioned on the YouTube channel. Okay. Journey success. If you supervised a team of 18 for about 30 days, 30 days, 20 years ago, and can't remember the name of the company that has now been merged with a larger company, how would you handle it? I'm not being funny. I would do everything humanly possible to figure out the name of the company that it merged with. And you got to be able to Google that stuff, but I would definitely find it, and I would put the new company's name, and then in the parentheses next to the new company's name put formerly doing business as, and what it was called when you were there. Okay, a couple more. Let me see here. All right, Nelson. I think I'm right here. All right, Andrew, what made you get into this business of helping people with their careers and jobs, resumes, etc.? Why did you leave the corporate world? Okay, folks, I love that question. Everybody's got a story. I'm a bleeding heart. So when I was younger, I was very, very interested in science and math and physics and all that stuff, which is why I was an electrical engineer. And when I got that degree, I realized I didn't want to be an electrical engineer. So I looked at the things that interested me and also the location. I wanted to be in Chicago, which is my hometown, and I went to school at Iowa State. So, and I'll make this as quick as possible, but I spent a lot of time in technology management and technology consulting because I loved helping companies, but I really loved helping people. So the folks that I was helping, whether it was my customers or my team or my staff, the mentoring and coaching is what really drove me. And then as I grew in my career and I started managing larger teams, and I worked at a company where I had a lot of people that were under my purview, and I was running a division and doing all the sales and the marketing and the delivery and all that good stuff. But the people aspect of that and coaching and mentoring them was what I loved most. So when I was about 38 or so, or maybe 37, I started to do some soul searching, and I really wanted to focus on what I love to do most. And I looked at the intersection of what do I love to do most, and what am I skilled and equipped to do, and long term, what do I want to do? And I wrote a blog post about it that's on the Mile Walk blog, on the Tips for Working Life blog, about how to avoid career stagnation. And I put the process that I went through out there on the site for everybody to see, and how I evaluated it. And then I became a recruiter. And so I got to help people, but I was still consulting, and I was still in the IT space, and I was helping organizations. And then that's evolved into blogging and authoring. And I've always been about helping the individual because it pleases me much more to help you transform your life 100%. If I'm consulting for a company, it takes a lot longer, and the change that organizations go through really dismantle a lot of the contributions you make to them. But to that individual, if I could help shape your life and help you be happy in your career, because let's be honest, folks, you're all here for a reason. With me, you're here because you want to get a lot out of your career. Your career has a lot to do with your happiness. So I felt like if I could go after that, that just became my mission, and I just kept going. So, it means the world to me to be able to help you. And, I know some of you, leverage a lot of my free stuff. That's great. Some of you pay for my courses, but my mission is clear. My mission is helping you. I don't always get paid for my mission, but my mission's not going to change. And I think you need to think about that. A lot of you career changers out there, we go through this in the boot camp. There's a lot of soul searching up front to make sure. And even if you like what you're doing, it's still my job to help you. If you are looking at different career opportunities or different jobs or different companies, how do you transition to the new job, making sure, or new company, making sure that they actually can satisfy you and that's going to be a better place for you. So that stuff is really important to me. So I let my passion drive it, and I have faith that I will figure out how to support myself financially if I'm doing what I love. And so that's kind of how I got there. And it's been great. And thank you for asking. All right, let me see. All right, let me take a couple more here. Rachel, you're welcome. All right, so 999 damage. Hi, Andy. Should I limit my work experience section to only 2 or 3 jobs? I feel I need to list at least 4 to show my work. That's okay. Show everything if you can. I think I passed some. What's the best way to find a person's name for the cover letter? So a couple things. You can call in to the organization. You can scout it through LinkedIn and other places. There's a million ways to do that. The question I actually get asked more often is, if I can't find somebody's name, how should I address the cover letter? Do not address it to whom it may concern. It's old-fashioned. It's out of style. What you want to do is, it's okay to say, dear hiring manager, dear hiring official, dear hiring team at company XYZ. That's okay. It's a little more personal. But I would do whatever I can to actually find the name. All right, folks, I am going to hit it. You guys have been great. An hour and 46 minutes. So we topped yesterday's. Remember, tomorrow's about the job description. You got a couple seconds left to get into the boot camp. Or email me at support@milewalk.com if you got any questions. The other thing, give me a like, a comment, and a share if you love this video, and hang on to the URL, because I'm not going to release it to the public for a few weeks. So you're all my people. You got access to this. You spent the time here, or you're on my email list. You keep that link, and I think I'm going to send you an email over the weekend with all the links to these, but as long as you're on the list, you'll get that. So, folks, I had a ball. Come see me tomorrow. I'll be here again. It'll be a little frostier. It's a little earlier in the day. So hopefully, maybe Friday you can take a little time out of work. I tried to do it at lunchtime to get it to as many of you as possible. So until then, have a great one.